Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever it is in the world you are streaming here on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, as well as YouTube. It always takes me a minute to load all the damn streams here so I can be sure to see your guys' comments. Hope everyone had a good week, had a good holiday yesterday. If you celebrate, I have to remember most of the world does not celebrate Thanksgiving. The rest of the world outside the United States. So this particular website has opened up my perspective because I have so many people that follow me from other parts of the world, and I've done a lot of traveling in the past couple of years that I no longer think through the lens of Americans only, which I will say is certainly one of our lesser qualities. Americans look through the entire world through a US lens only. There's a lot of different cultures out there. There's a lot of different people who celebrate different things. I didn't really have that perspective. It comes with age. Everything comes with age. All right. I know that's not what you guys want to talk about. I hope you enjoy my shoe. I'm sorry for the, and maybe it's a little bit more authentic this way. We're getting some news as we begin today's show. Kobe White's going to be available to play. You just saw the news that Giannis will be in the lineup, of course, for the Milwaukee Bucks at Madison Square Garden against the Knicks. Giannis is in there, and that is, for those of you asking, because I always do get the question at the top of the show, what am I on tonight? And tonight's action, you're looking right at it. The Milwaukee Bucks, I have them +9. I sent that out right, I'd say, a couple hours ago before we started the stream. I have them +9, which is now can be had for -148. I think I have -108 myself. But with the news that Giannis will be back in the lineup, Milwaukee has been spiraling predictably. They stink, but they will not stink tonight. Or at least they will only stink by less than 9 points. But this rule is not solved the Knicks' problem of being able to stop the perimeter when it comes to yielding three-point percentage to their opponents, of which they have been static. Hold on. Why is it always something? Why is it always something? Okay, that should be better, I think, but it might be on MacBook speakers. Bear with me here, people. It's always something. Every time we use this damn app, it's StreamYard is becoming OBS. It might be on MacBook speakers. Bear with me here, people. Okay, it was on MacBook speakers. Now it's back on the microphone. Hold on. Let's see how it sounds. It was on MacBook speakers. Now it's back on the microphone. Hold on. Okay. If it continues to be staticky, y'all let me know. Sorry about that. What did you hear before we went full static? The live chat does actually work again. That's a great start to the show. You know, it's even more frustrating because StreamYard's been glitching this for the past 3 weeks. First, I wasn't able to do the screen grab of using ProfitX, so I might as well put them on the site while the shit still works. Now the audio is trash. It's not the microphone. Maybe because it's in a shoe. Okay. Yes. So the last thing, appreciate you guys in the chat. The last thing that you heard was Kobe White is playing, and then I was getting to Giannis Antetokounmpo returning to the lineup against the New York Knicks, which seems pretty obvious. This always happens, especially when you're playing games at Madison Square Garden. So I was putting onto the screen what you see right here. I gave it out earlier at plus. I have the Bucks +9, but I have it minus what 108 or something. Whenever I tweeted in that screenshot, that has obviously changed since Giannis has entered the lineup. But obviously, not obviously, but additionally in Profinex, you're not going to get better juice at 9. Anywhere else, considering that the line I think has fallen to roughly 7.5 or 7. So there was anticipation that Giannis was going to be participating at shoot-arounds, and before the game tonight, and as a result, we're going to lay the points with the Bucks because the New York Knicks do not let those victories against the Hornets. Okay. I've had enough of this microphone. I've had enough of StreamYard. You know, nothing pisses me off more than tech problems. Okay. I've had enough of this microphone. I've had enough of StreamYard. You know, nothing. Okay. So it clearly just works for a couple minutes right now. Let me get closer to them. Just going to use the MacBook computer speakers. I'm going to sound like I'm in an aquarium, but you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. It's the damn shoe. It's the damn shoe, isn't it? I have nowhere else to put the microphone. Frustrating as hell. Nothing pisses me off more than tech problems. Fix your shit. You know how many people use StreamYard and OBS? And every week it's an update. Every time you see an update that, we came out with version 28.5.3, then here comes 0.4, it's going to fucking break. Well, they have to keep up with the times and some bullshit. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Anyway. Where was I? Giannis is playing. The Knicks are terrible from defending the three-pointer when their opponents shoot it. They are yielding one of the worst. I can't even form a fucking thought because my brain is fried from tech issues. Nothing pisses me off all day. I can't. How else am I supposed to test it unless it's live? Why do they keep updating this bullshit? Teams are shooting well against the New York Knicks from outside the perimeter. That should not be a coincidence that it's happened the same time OG Anunoby goes down with his hamstring injury. The whole reason why the OG Anunoby trade happened a couple of years ago is because RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, all God bless their souls, everyone else on the team couldn't defend their own shadow. The result of which, dribble penetration, drive and kick, step in wide open threes, watching Evan Fournier try and scramble around the perimeter and close out. Wasn't working. It's not working now either. So I anticipate this Milwaukee Bucks team, despite them struggling with having Giannis back in the lineup, dribble penetrate. If Mitchell Robinson's not there to clog the holes in the armor, there's going to be a whole bunch of dribble, drive, kick, step into threes, and everyone shoots well against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. That's my reasoning for taking +9. I think this game stays close. The Knicks may squeak it out, but we continue. What else has happened? I didn't mean for this show to begin on such a... I was feeling good. I just got back from the gym. Feel good coming out of the shower. It's freezing outside. Sunset. How do you people live in the Northeast? Anyone that's watching this in the Northeast. The sunset today said it was at 4:25 p.m. 4:25 p.m. And when I first got here last week, it was setting at 4:46. So we've lost 21 minutes of sunlight in a week as we approach the winter solstice. How do you people live in this? And I'm a night owl. So I don't go to bed at Eastern Standard Time until like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And then I don't wake up until roughly noon to prepare for the radio show at 1. So I'm only seeing 4 hours of sunlight in this damn part of the world per day. And I'm inside for 3 of them on a radio show. How do you people do it? How did I do it for 18 years? Please move somewhere that weather. Enjoy weather if you have the means and resources to do so. If you can pick up your life and go somewhere nice. Life is too short to be limited in the Northeast in the winter. Thank you. This whole stream has become therapy for myself. What else? Talk to me, Chad. Okay. We'll be more positive. We'll be more positive. What would you like to talk about tonight? This is meant to be Q&A, but you can tell I get very annoyed by tech issues. Okay. Does my mic just not work anymore? Do the Pistons win? There's some good games tonight, by the way. Let me pull up the slate real quick. So tonight's games, you can see them on the right side of the screen. Okay. Magic Pistons, good game. Sixers Nets, no bueno. Cavs Hawks, decent. Wizards Pacers, meant for sickos. Bucks Knicks, Amazon Prime Cup game. Giannis returns. Bulls Hornets, no thank you. Even though it's the Jersey matchup of the night. Every single team, there's 11 games. I think all 11 have the road team wearing white. What else? Spurs Nuggets, good game. Did you guys see that video going around that Jokic considered? Do you see this bullshit that just popped up at the top of the screen? This webpage is using significant injury, closing it. So that my CPU usage is going through the roof because I'm just going to keep going until this shit breaks. Spurs Nuggets. Anyway, LeBron was saying Jokic is probably the most complete player that he's gone up against. Suns Thunder. This on paper should be close. The Suns are spunky. What are they, 12-7 on the season? What's that spread, by the way? I'm curious. So go look at the money line. Holy shit. They got Phoenix at plus 770 to win this game. Phoenix 14.5-point dogs. The Timberwolves should get half of a win and half of a loss for forcing Oklahoma City to have to keep their starters on the floor for a majority of that fourth quarter. You should get, I use the hockey analogy on Wednesday's show, the same way that a team that goes to overtime and loses still gets 1 point in the standings. If you force Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to play fourth quarter minutes, it should go in as half a win, half a loss. Because it doesn't really help you, but it does. You should get credit for keeping the game close. They're going to break every record that they set last year. Their point differential at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, is plus 313. That destroys the all-time number. Destroys it. They're responsible for setting the regular season record for double-digit victories in a season. 18-1. They win the title again, they will be known as one of the best teams ever if they have 2 titles to claim back to back, and they put up 70+ wins, better than last year, and they get through Denver and Houston. This will be considered one of the best. Oh, by the way, they get J-Dub back tonight.
in this game. They get J-Dub back, all NBA and all-star. My God. The Suns have been good this year, too. Suns are good, and they're catching 14 and a half in Oklahoma City tonight. This is a war machine of basketball. J-Dub's going to play, 20 minutes max? They're going to have a top pick coming in as well. Fucking dynasty, man, if they win again. Is Mexico in play? Mexico's always in play. Reed Shepherd taking off for Houston. And I don't want to forget that Houston opening night probably should have won that game against OKC. It was close, but they were in contention. Double OT. So it's doable. Like OKC got taken to 7 games last year by the Nuggets and the Pacers. Aaron Gordon was on one leg. They didn't have that bench. So there's Denver and Houston, mostly Denver, is the only thing that can stop OKC. As of November 28th, I reserve the right to change my mind. The Eastern Conference won't win a single game in the finals as of this moment. Not one game. 4-0 sweep. Pistons, Knicks, Cavs, whoever comes out of there. They're getting swept by OKC. Long way away, things can change. Shea could roll an ankle or something like that, and it just changes the perplexity. That's why you play the games, right? But on paper, as of this moment, those are the early returns. Best case scenario. Hey, what's up, AE24? Best case scenario for my Celtics this year. Honestly, what they're doing right now, finishing 7th to 8th place, qualify for the playoffs through the play-in tournament. Don't play Jason Tatum. I don't care how many videos he puts out. We're starting to get the Cavs actives for tonight. The news is going to start to pour in here in a minute. I don't care how many okay. Allen in, Dean Wade in, and this is good. Craig Porter Jr. out. They're playing the Hawks. Let's see. Where's this at right now? Cleveland is 6.5-point favorites on the road. Okay. We'll keep an eye on some of this news. Where was I? Oh, Celtics. Yeah. Just finished in like 7th, 8th place. Indiana's playing their season perfectly, by the way. That trade that happened during the finals that nobody spoke about other than you can trade during the finals. Yeah, if it involves draft picks. So by them trading Mojave King to get their first round pick back from New Orleans, they control it. There was an assumption at the time they're going to be back next year. They'll be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, if not representing them again. That pick will be at the bottom of the 20s. Like, who gives a shit, honestly? That's practically a second-round pick just with the guarantee. Well, what happens is Halliburton goes down a couple of days later. Indiana's 2-15. That pick may end up in the top 5. So Indiana gets healthy. They can take the offseason to resolve their Miles Turner vacancy after he left to go to Milwaukee. Halliburton comes back. You have a top pick. That team will be right back next year. What season was it where after Clay busted up his leg, Durant ruptured his Achilles in Golden State? I think Steph got hurt one of those. It was at 2019 or 2020 or something that the Warriors just full on punted. And then they had Kuminga and Moses Moody draft. That should have been what, 2021? Around that time. And then they come back and they win a title in 2022. The Pacers are on that plan. They're on that plan. Punt this season. Take care of your guys. Run Nembhard out there as much as he wants. But just keep losing games. Get that pick. Get Halliburton back. And y'all will be, as soon as this time next year, Pacers will be a team to reckon with. They know how to play their cards right. They are sharp as hell in that front office. What's up, Vegan Barbie? Winter back east sucks, but also I feel like sleeping from 4 to 12 is a huge factor in lack of sunlight. Well, yes. I first of all, I spoke about this on the previous show because the NBC games are on Tuesdays. Tuesday night, it did not tip off until 11:15 where I'm at right now, p.m. It had been dark for 7 hours before an NBA game tips. Now there's people in other parts of the world. Like now you get what it's like to watch games in Europe. Trust me, I know. I spent a week there for the Paris games between the Nets and the Cavs. And I stayed up from 1 a.m. until 8 a.m. watching all the damn games. And then I went to work at like 10 and I was just taking naps. It was fucking miserable. And so you have to essentially choose what game you're staying up for to watch at those ungodly hours. But I'm staying up to watch Clippers versus Lakers on NBC with 11:15 tip. That means it's not ending until 10:45. Yeah, or let's call it 10:30, 10:45 local time, 1:45 a.m. Eastern. And because I'm doing a radio show, I got to listen to the post-game press conference, see talking about tactics and explanations for rotations and strategies. Before you know it, now it's 2:30. And Kawhi Leonard is infamous for taking forever to get up to that damn podium. They had to go interview LeBron while he was butt-ass naked. So it's 2:30. And you can't just snap your fingers and go right to bed. Shower, watch the news, eat something. Now it's 3:15, 3:30, and then you're asleep at 4. I understand the show that I did previously. I was talking about I was giving unsolicited advice about creating content in the NBA. I'm sure somebody watching this, whether you're in the chat right now or not, somebody watching this is aspiring. I could start my own YouTube channel. I want to cover the NBA nationally, not just the market that you're in, because that's mostly where content is headed now. People are focusing on individual teams and creating their own little niche, right? Sub-communities. But if you want to cover the NBA nationally, do not live on the East Coast. Don't do it. Everyone will tell you that. If you have a family, if you have a separate job, it's all going to shit. You will never, ever be happy. You have to be on the West Coast, preferably even Hawaii. What's up, Buttery? Do you think Paolo will be able to adapt to the new pace? Oh, well, yeah, this seems to be the theme in the NBA. Okay, look what happened to the Phoenix Suns. Secondary transition, fast break. Without Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, who are all great individual talents, but with great individual talents comes ball stopping in the half court. Now, ball barely touches the floor. Dylan Brooks is getting up 17 shots a game. Colin Gillespie's going for sixth man of the year. They all share it equally. There's no dominant usage guys. How about down in Miami, where I called them offensively challenged, and the Heat Nation was not very happy with me, but that still reigns true. Their individuals are offensively challenged, but this was what makes Spoelstra and the Heat culture so prominent, is they identified the best way for us to solve these issues is to make sure we never have a single half-court set. So all they do is they get out into the fast break. Ball rarely touches the floor. Everyone's sharing it equally. Everyone's getting downhill to the rim. I'm watching Jaime Jaquez drop step like he's prime Shaquille O'Neal. They're open, and they just never, the ball just never stops. And something is happening with OKC now that they are so elite on defense. They are so ridiculous on defense, guys, that I'm even going to pull this shit up to show you. It is laughable. Laughable. When you look at the current, okay, give me a second. Here it comes. Oh, wonderful. I'm glad I did this. Hopefully, shit doesn't break. Look in the middle of your screen. Look in the middle of your screen. Oklahoma City's defensive rating is 102.9. Look at where second place is. 110.2. That is a 7.3 net defensive rating difference. And the difference between the Miami Heat all the way down, you can't see it right here, but we looked it up on the show earlier. The difference between the Thunder and the Heat is the same difference between the Heat and I think Dallas. No, I'm sorry, not Dallas. Whoever, God, fuck me. Whoever's in 22nd, it's the same amount of defensive rating points. OKC is so ridiculous that they may be breaking the standard traditional way to run offense in the NBA. The example that I'm speaking of is pick and roll. Even if you don't watch the NBA, some random person down the street can probably tell you what a pick and roll is. It's just basic basketball sports terminology, the equivalent of a Hail Mary, or in football, a slant. Like basic shit, right? Oklahoma City, their defense is so pure that teams are ceasing, no longer running dribble handoffs against them, because Caruso, Wallace, Dort, Wiggin, everybody, Shea, they know how to blow up a dribble handoff so that, one, they'll draw an offensive foul for sticking your hip out a little too much. They go flying and it's a turnover. And that's if you're lucky. If you're unlucky, the whistle doesn't blow and then it becomes a live ball turnover, which is almost a guarantee that they're going to get 2 points at the other end. So dribble handoffs and pick and rolls are out against OKC because if you run them, it just gives them even more of a reason to feast on your flesh and send multiple defenders to the action. They know how to blitz. They know how to hedge. They can switch everything if they need because they got guys who can guard positions 1 through 5. They're interchangeable parts. They are just a seamless transition, and they have 3 hockey shifts of guys that can do this. 102.9 versus 110.2. Do you know what defensive rating means? The number of points that you concede per 100 possessions. You're giving up almost 1.0 on average. That's ridiculous. It's just north of there, considering how far offense has evolved in today's game. It does not against the Thunder. So now you just go into a whole bunch of isolation off the dribble, try and get downhill, penetrate, drive, and kick. They don't leave their assignments because they don't help. They don't need to help. Even if you beat Shea Gilgeous, J-Dub, or any of these dudes, Chet Holmgren, off the dribble, they chase you down at the rim anyway. Who the fuck is going to beat these guys? Is anyone else watching this shit? God damn, are they good? Too good. They're going to break back. They are going to break basketball. The game has been broken a couple of times. Steph Curry is the most recent example. I wouldn't even say LeBron broke it because Magic Johnson was the original point forward. But Kareem was prevented from dunking. They banned dunking. They had to add a three-point line. Then they had to push it back because of Steph and everyone else learning how to shoot threes. The Thunder defense is going to break how teams run pick and roll action, dribble handoffs, which is, once again, very standard in getting someone open or downhill. For example, Devin Booker, who's going to experience it tonight. Devin Booker is at his absolute best when he gets, we saw it in the series against the LA Clippers when he was being forced out of necessity to play point guard. And he had Patrick Beverly on him and all these other dudes. It didn't fucking matter. If you get downhill and he gets to that nail on the free throw line, he is so much better when he has momentum before he touches the basketball. But when you play Oklahoma City, they turn you stationary when you run pick and rolls. They have you back up and reset. And then if they smell blood in the water, they send multiple guys as a double team, and they just know how to pick up each other and rotate around the floor. Lomax in the chat says, you're forcing me to bet on the OKC line. Good luck. The whole world knows how good they are. This is the line you want to bet on right here? A team that's almost 8-1 as an underdog? 14.5. The 14.5 spread in the NBA is usually reserved for the Brooklyn Nets playing on the road in Madison Square Garden, like some terrible team against one of the more elite squads in either conference. Playing 14.5. And that feels light. I've said my piece. You see how much better this stream is when I don't have tech issues? Thank you for listening, chat. I know y'all are listening when you go quiet. I'm preaching something. That was the case on YouTube for a while too. People would just stop chatting. My apologies. I go on little sermons, but this one was necessary because I am telling you, if you watch this game tonight, there's a lot of television on. I'm watching Georgia Tech right now. Okay, there's good football games on. Dedicate one of your tablets or devices to watching OKC versus Phoenix, and don't even worry about OKC on offense because they're probably going to win this game and win it handily. Watch them blow up triple handoffs and pick and rolls. They blow up the action to the point it is detrimental to your offense to call that specific play. That's all I want you to focus on. And a team that is playing well, has cohesion and chemistry in the Phoenix Suns is about to experience this firsthand. You're not the only ones. Everyone on the schedule is doomed. I don't know what else to say. Denver and Houston. I feel like Princess Leia. You are our only hope. You are our only hope. Say, help us. What else? Talk to me, Chad. That's all I wanted to get that off my chest. I will not speak again until I answer a question. This is meant to be Q, well, more Q than A, and it's been a lot of A. Georgia Tech go 80 yards in 13 seconds with no timeouts? Probably not. A valiant effort. That's how you cover the spread. Who are the Mavs playing tonight, Mike? Forgot about this game. Oh! Forgot about that. Hello there, Anthony Davis. What's he being booked at, Prophet X? 18 and a half. Is he going to... that's pretty accurate for his minutes restriction. You got to think Davis is going to be 25 minutes tonight. Be my guess. They better treat him cautiously. You are 5 and 14. If he tears his Achilles, it's over. It's over. Better make sure that man is 150%. Just, I don't even want to put it out into the world. Oh. Derek Lively's out too. There's going to be a lot of pressure on AD. He's coming back to LA tonight. Oh, don't. AD, do not go out there and pull what you did against the Rockets last year, where you turn into basketball Godzilla. We know you can do it. You don't need to prove it anymore. We know what you're capable of. But then you're going to pull something. We don't need you to turn into the Hulk just yet. I just can't imagine the conversation around this particular transaction if AD were to be seriously injured and not just day to Davis. Did I have a good Thanksgiving, Vegan Barbie? I did. Surrounded by dogs, family, and friends, even though it was pitch black at 4:30. I only come back here usually once a year. So I get to spend time with the people that live on the other side of the country. And then I'll go see a friend in Manhattan tomorrow. And then go about the work week until Wednesday. Then I go back to Manhattan to do the radio show from the SiriusXM studios. That's always fun because there's multiple studios there, and but there's a method to the madness because I do the show there, then I go straight to JFK, fly to Buenos Aires until Christmas. So then I'll be doing these shows starting next Friday. Starting next Friday, you'll see me in the Buenos Aires location. Summer. Sun doesn't set until 8 p.m. 80 degrees. Gorgeous. Tapas. Meat. I've got my tasting. Oh, Georgia Tech throwing a Hail Mary? How did they get all the way down there? They almost caught that. How did Georgia Tech get all the way to the 50? Was there a penalty? I missed that. They had a chance to tie that game, win that game. Wow. But yeah, that's the schedule. What's the number on Luka point total versus the Mavs tonight? Asks AE in the chat. Let's find out together, shall we? I don't know. I imagine it's quite high. Have you guys seen that stat about what Luka's doing to the Clippers specifically throughout his career? The most average points per game by a player against a specific team. You can imagine who was the top 5. Wilt versus blank. Wilt versus blank. Wilt versus blank. Now it's Luka in 4th against the Clippers. He's averaging 34, 35. I forgot what that number was. Points per game against the Clippers. Does not like the Clippers very much. Let's look for Luka. It's got to be at the top of the screen. Reeves 20.5. That number keeps coming down. 33.5 for Luka. That is a shit ton of points. This feels, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but this feels like the opportunity to bet the under. At some point, Reeves in LeBron's usage is going to catch up. Like LeBron is not going to play third fiddle forever. And this number is so bloated. This is as high as it will get. 33.5 is nuts. How much can go wrong in an NBA game? Even if Luka's making every single shot, for example, what if he gets into foul trouble and he loses 5 minutes of playtime? That number's cooked when it's this high. 33.5. That's huge, man. I do anticipate if you start overloading the defense against Luka, now Reeves and LeBron are going to be open. Maybe this is the night that Luka becomes a distributor. He goes for one of those like 20, 15, and 10 triple doubles. That's 13.5 points short of 33.5. By taking that over, you are essentially saying that he is going to be even better than he's been against the Clippers and all the teams that he hates. Now, that number is high again because he's playing the Mavericks, and you would think, oh, he's out for revenge. He's gotten his revenge already. He doesn't need to go light them on fire. You know what? I'm talking myself into betting an under. I am recommending Luka Doncic under 33.5. I think he goes for 27, 15, and 10 tonight. 27, 15, and 10. Luka Doncic. And the Mavericks know, like, oh, Luka's going to come for our throats. So he's going to see a whole bunch of extra attention. Anthony Davis will be on the floor too. So not as many interior buckets. Book it. Book it. Full on. You know how this is not financial advice? It's my job on this show to recommend something I'm passionate about. I'm on the Bucks +9, and I will be on Luka Doncic under 33.5. Boom. How do you like that? Thanks for asking. I don't know if that's what you intended when you asked in the chat, but thanks for doing it anyway. Utah probably going to show out against Sacramento. I'll pose this to the chat, okay, because we had this conversation on the show earlier. If you were building a team from scratch, would you prioritize defensive versatility or floor spacing offense, meaning having jump shooters around the court? What would you prioritize first if you could only have one or the other? And my partner, Amin El Hassan, said defensive versatility by far. And I was going to agree with him originally, but I even more so reinforced my sign off because I think of a team like the Utah Jazz. 5 guys who can definitely space the floor out there. That's not their problem. Scoring points, not their problem. Protecting the rim, restricted area. When was the last time they've done that? Scoring just isn't enough anymore. You have to find a way to get stops because teams are just too good at the other side. You have to get stops without fouling. Getting a stop in today's game feels like Paul George is starting, by the way, for Philly. Wolf. What is that number? He is just very bad right now. Paul George in the starting lineup. Let me pull this up. Give me a second. Paul George, 14.5. He's been getting shots up, by the way. Sixers are starting Maxey, Grimes, Barlow, Paul George, and Drummond. Quentin Grimes, 18.5. In Brooklyn, there's always blowout potential. Barlow just cannot shoot, man. His jumper is like Charles Barkley's golf swing. The old Charles Barkley golf swing. But 14.5, PG's been getting shots up, especially in the first half. He just doesn't make anything. He's been getting the ops. And if you get the opportunities, that's all like people that are placing prop wagers are thinking about is usage and minutes. You can't predict. You really just can't predict if someone's going to be making shots. You just have to go with averages. Did I go in any Knicks games while I'm here? No. Can you believe tickets to get into tonight's game are, when we looked earlier, it was including fees, $240 for a single ticket, nosebleeds, Knicks Bucks. Not even that much of a rivalry. Yes, it's a Friday night during the holidays, but the demand for tickets, especially with tourists too, how many people are into New York from out of town that got to go to a Knicks game? While we're here, we got to go to a Knicks game. That's why demand is so high. Brooklyn Nets tickets, including fees, when we looked, $23. You could, for 90% off, you can go watch Nets versus Sixers instead. 240 versus like 23. It's the majesty of Madison Square Garden. It's also part of the reason why I have Lakers season tickets, and they're all just individual seats. I don't even have seats together because demand was so high, and that's the only way that I could get in. And to this day, I've been able to sell every single game at a profit. And that is because the power of tourism, someone coming in from, let's say, China, right? Got to go to a Laker game. I'm in LA and I'm solo travel. Guess whose tickets they're buying? Me. I'm the solo. I have solo seats available. So New York, Miami, it's really New York, Chicago, LA, San Francisco will always, no matter what their records are, will be able to draw. Chicago, not as much, especially in the winter, just because it's so cold. Will always be able to draw crowds, and therefore their ticket prices just remain so high, especially when the Knicks are good. The Knicks, I had the season tickets. I had 4 season tickets when the Knicks were during Linsanity. The Knicks were not good. Even with Linsanity, they were barely, that's what Linsanity was all about. They were barely hovering above mediocrity. They hadn't been good in a while. They had just made the Carmelo Anthony trade, and he was hurt. They were under 500 too during Linsanity, if I'm not mistaken, until they started rattling off all those games. OKC no. Someone in the chat just proposed betting on OKC plus 380 to win every single quarter. Are you going to win the fourth when you've got the third stringers out there? That's the one that's going to come back to bite you. And also, it could work out that for that bet to hit, you need OKC to win every quarter by like 5 points. Because if they win one by 27, they're not going to give a shit about the third and the fourth. What's up, Coach Mike? It's all good. Welcome in. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Everyone else got some of the regular names in here. It's nice to have a consistent contribution from you all. And doing this show at this time is going to be a different audience than when I used to do like post-game shows and stuff like that. People tune in after work. They tune in after games. They may be night owls like myself. But we do the show with a purpose because if there's any major news that drops, we're trying to monetize it, take advantage of it. Seven Sports in the chat asks, does ProfitX have a prop bet for OKC to win NBA Cup and title? Oh, NBA Cup and title, both. If anyone from Profit X is watching this, are you able to help us out? How about we go to NBA specials? I doubt both are out there, but I'm assuming OKC is going to qualify after tonight. They'll be the favorites to win, and they're already the favorites to win the title. So this is taking forever, and it's pissing me off. Starting to get mad again. All the games are starting at 7:30 Eastern tonight, by the way. No, but you know what? If I'm sure someone from Profit X is watching this, maybe they can put an NBA special out here. Oh, wait, NBA futures. NBA futures, NBA specials. Oh, there's a couple. Will Anthony Davis get traded before the trade deadline? Okay. Jimmy Butler, Steph. Oh, we did that one already. 74 plus wins. You can bet on the will they break the record? I would go big on no. Just there's so much that can happen. That means you have to go 74-8. Yeah. This feels generous at minus 380. There's not that much liquidity in it, though. What else? Thanksgiving plate. You know what? I went pretty ham vegan Barbie. You need to earmuffs. The plate consisted of heavy amounts of ham. I went more ham than turkey. I'm a big turkey guy, but the ham's just been delicious. Ever since I've been going to Europe, eating a lot of prosciutto, I like ham now. Just crispy. I like well done ham. Crispy ham. Tough ham. They serve a lot of ham in Europe. You just walk into a grocery store and they have the croissants that are just ham and cheese. And they're like $1. And it's you eat a couple of those and it feels like you just had a full sandwich. They're so delicious. Grocery stores are so affordable over there too. Well, other than that, go for, well, since the games are starting a little bit later, I think they're all, let me pull it up real quick. First game tonight is 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. Okay. Yeah, no 7 p.m. games tonight, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it jumps to 6:30. That's a strange structure. There's no, the big one is 8 p.m. Eastern. That's always the most populous slate tip-off time. Not tonight. 0. We got Cass on the call for Bucks Knicks. Looking forward to that. What else? Sorry, I'm distracted by Lane Kiffin as always. Do you think Lane Kiffin goes? Yes or no? Or is he just using LSU to get Ole Miss to match the contract? It'd be pretty shitty if he goes, but you can't be. Everything's hypocritical nowadays in college sports because the players are bouncing around. Why can't the coaches too? Go get that money. It's the age we live in. Vegan Barbie says, it's my birthday tomorrow. Can I get a shout out? I need attention. Vegan Barbie, happy birthday. What birthday is it? You only turn whatever you're turning once. I will give you full advice if you let me know what age I'm working with here. Something tells me it's 20, 26. Happy birthday's in the chat for Vegan Barbie. Make her feel special. It's one of the more common commenters here in this particular show. Or just not give me your age. You can do that too. You can't 18 in your head. Wait, that better not mean you're south of 18. Over 25. Yeah, it's got to be over 25. There's countries that are banning social media for anyone who's not 18. Australia, I think Denmark. There you go. Happy birthday indeed, Vegan Barbie. Danger, Will Robinson. Yeah. Not my department. That means I'm like twice your age. I am as much of a boomer. I'm much more boomer than I am millennial. Malaysia, is that true? Malaysia's been banning social media for age purposes or other, I don't know what's going on over there with current events. Some of these places are banning social media because there's been uprisings and revolutions. Nepal, I think, was one. Madagascar, another. Those aren't age related. It just happens to be a bunch of teenagers that are using it. So then it's a vehicle for them to turn it off. I can see all the people in the chat that are just snooping around and not commenting. People that have this on the side. I will not get myself canceled. You don't have to worry about that. You are post-Saturn return. Look it up. What does that even mean? Is this one of those zodiac signs? Things post-Saturn return. What do we think this means? A post-Saturn return refers to the period after the astrological event of a person's Saturn return, which occurs roughly every 29 and a half years and marks significant transition into adulthood, maturity. Does that mean you're turning 30? Or is it the big 3-0, or have you eclipsed that already? Because once you hit 30, there's no such thing as happy birthday anymore. It's just birthday. It's just a day. You want to root against birthdays once you hit 30. But you have your youth about you, I would say, until 35. This was a topic of conversation. This was a topic of conversation yesterday because I have a younger cousin that was asking me, when do you know when you're done, when you're washed? And for me, it was roughly like 35, 36 is when I stopped playing basketball in fear of getting hurt. And he was 31, 32 maybe. So he still has about 4 years left. But I would consider you in your prime from 27 to 33. More so even than 18 to 23. Because then you're young, you're barely in the workforce. Yeah, you have your youth about you, but most people have more resources at that age while still having their athleticism. So I would say your prime is more 27 to young 30s. Well, there you go. Listen, if being a vegan works for you, then you should continue doing it. Everyone's wired differently. Eternal youth. If it works for you, I sign off. God bless. Just because I don't like vegetables. And that's what I appreciate about you is you listen to me slander vegetables almost every single time that I come onto this show. And yet you still come back anyway. And for that is healthy dialogue. I appreciate you for that. And everyone else, of course. But I know we probably don't have a lot in common outside of ball knowledge. Is the NBA still happening? Asks Real Baby Seal. Have I missed something? What are you talking about? Why? Because there's a bunch of football games on. That means the NBA just stops playing. What? This is the whole how I started off today's show about people seeing the world through only the lens of the United States. Someone in Europe does not care that there's college football, big college football games on. People in Africa, Australia, and Asia do not care about our Thanksgiving the same way the United States people don't care about Canadian Thanksgiving. Right? Open up your mind. Consider other people's perspectives that are not within the echo chamber. I have learned that. I feel like I have a PhD in that the past couple of years. I've gotten my study. I was certainly guilty of being inside of a United States bubble for a long time, but you know how it started, by the way? Doing post-game shows about the NBA and seeing how many people would come into those rooms because you could see the demographics of their location and who's viewing. How many people were like tuning in from Australia and the Philippines and China and Asia and Japan? Thank God we can watch something because everyone in the United States only does content when it's rush hour in the mornings and in the evenings. Finally, someone is live at the time that's convenient for me, not in the United States. And that's the audience that I was targeting. Seth says 27 to 33 feels like 45 to 52. And I guess it also depends on, did you have a major injury growing up? Because if you bust up your knee playing football when you're 16, 33 is going to feel old. And your knees are going to start to be creaky. I never had a really super serious injury other than like stitches, shit, minor broken wrist. I got wrapped around a basketball pole once at Pan Pacific Park in Los Angeles. I still have like a sports hernia in my back, but nothing super crazy. All my injuries now are tennis related in my shoulder. But this is the part of the show where the chat is now discussing vegetables. Then Danny says stuff like broccoli has a lot of protein too, and that kind of lifestyle keeps your body functioning optimally. Amen. God bless. If you also take those juice plus pills I was telling you about, you don't have to eat the vegetables. You just get all the good stuff without the taste. But she's right. She hasn't even mentioned it yet, but tofu is a great solve. Tofu is delicious, even for meat lovers. There you go. You could have a full Thanksgiving plate, fully vegan, and it's still delicious. Do what makes you happy. You never have to confine yourself to someone's optimized lifestyle. Do what makes you happy, please. I know that's easy to say, but some people just refuse to hear it. After losing a step from the intramural days. This is true. Oh, you ain't dunking anymore. If Hellwick was in here right now, he would be the billboard of someone who could speak to you about this. That kid could dunk and then he busted up his entire knee. And now he feels like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to return to that level. We hope that he does, but you get hit with that like feeling of, oh shit, am I washed? Yeah, father time's undefeated, man. Got to operate below the rim. Watching Derrick Rose and John Morant jump on people's heads. Like at some point, if they land wrong, it could all be over. There is some violence that occurs above the rim, and then you come crashing down to the ground. Oh, how many times I've seen blown out legs and stuff, man. Enjoy the youth while you have it. They say youth is wasted on the young. Oh, real baby seal. I meant that there seems to be little basketball discussion. This is Q&A. I answer questions. If you have a basketball question, I'm happy to answer. when I preach about basketball for 20 straight minutes about how Oklahoma City is breaking the game defensively, the chat goes silent. What is a keto diet? Keto. That sounds like tofu type diet. Is that right? I like Atkins diet. No sugar, only meat. Straight protein diet. I had 7 muffins yesterday. 7 little muffins though. They're like this big. But they were so delicious. Am I on NAD plus? What on earth is that? NAD plus? I gotta look this up. You with your post Saturn returns and NAD plus. Nicotinamide? Is that nicotine? Nicotinamide, adenine, I can't pronounce this shit. Essential coenzyme in all living cells that plays a crucial role in metabolism and energy production. So is that Ozempic? NAD plus plays a pivotal role in cellular metabolism. What on earth is this stuff? This is like a drug? Anti-aging. Anti-aging? Keto is no sugar, no processed stuff, just protein and veggies. I wish I could say I didn't eat processed stuff, but I do. But I also limit it. I know how to limit it. If I limit it, I feel safe. My blood work is top notch too. So Seth's trying to interrupt me in the chat. Thoughts on the Pistons' ability to sustain their success without a true 1A option alongside Cade? Find out in the playoffs, right? That's part of what got them into trouble last year, and they don't have Malik Beasley or Tim Hardaway Jr. anymore. Tobias Harris is going to have to step up. Do you make a trade at the deadline? Jaden Ivey be that guy? Jalen Duren's not going to be breaking dudes down off the dribble. So you're right. How far can they go with everyone knowing it's just Cade? Well, how far can Golden State go with Steph? I do feel like you need a Robin to the Batman, though, for sure. Honestly, Dennis Jenkins, you're right. Dennis Jenkins is much more of a candidate to be that supplementary scorer than anyone currently. Tobias is the answer, though, right? Tobias is the answer. Vegan Barbie, are you going to tell me what NAD plus is? Is it? I'm going to keep reading. Cardiac health. Oh, I have something in my blood that's like genetic, something in my heart, but there's no cure or anything. I forgot what it's called. As long as I keep the levels low, it shouldn't expose me to heart problems, but supposedly I had the gene. So fascinating. Our bodies are machines that are all wired just a little bit different. Tobias does actually provide a lot more value than last year. Yeah. I don't know if I want Tobias like clearing everyone out and saying I got this shit, but in break glass of a case of emergency type of situation, he's proven, at least in Detroit, to be a viable option in that regard. It's like eternal youth. Your body makes it naturally, but slows with age, and you can supplement it. So you're telling me the NAD plus is not being pumped throughout your system as much when you are older, and you can take supplements to fight against aging. It makes sense. I don't see myself ever taking something like that. Were you providing me with a compliment that it looks like I take NAD plus because I'm 38 and I still got a little bit of youth about me? I think that's just the quality of the camera. But yeah, oh, one last thing. I took some time last night. Did you guys see the update that Twitter or X just pushed out? So now some of you may not have noticed this, but the drop down, there's following and for you tab at the top. And you can, switch between the two like always. The problem now is that the following tab has a drop down arrow and you sort based on two options: following and I'm sorry, most recent and popular. And the default is being set to popular, which is the same thing as for you, but it's exclusively your network. So the chronological timeline is no longer the default, even if following is selected. So if following is not your specific default, you have to click following, then you have to click the drop down bar, and then you have to click the different option. That's 2 to 3 total clicks, depending on your situation, to get back to the chronological timeline, which will all but kill niche communities on X that rely on real-time engagement of current events, news, sports, award shows, keynote speeches, video game reveals, you name it. People come together and they want to see in real time and react to it. But if you can't see those tweets, if you can't see those posts, then this app is going to turn into Instagram. It's going to be Instagram, where it's an algorithm that is just identifying posts that they think everyone will like, and the urgency of needing to be logged on to keep up with the conversation will no longer exist on this platform. And no matter what Twitter or X had been through, all of its scars, all of its warts, and there's many, the business's cornerstone has always been its uniqueness and utility of its live reaction platform, of it being a live reaction platform. As of this moment, it's no longer the default, and people have different habits. You watching this, you may be a power user, but most are not going to take the time to click, click, click. You know what? I'll just go to Reddit, or I'll just go to YouTube, somewhere that it's more convenient. Inconvenience is the major deter of users of social media in 2025, especially when considering the attention spans of people nowadays. They don't want to click 3 times to get what they really want. They'll just leave you behind and they won't say anything on the way out. What made Twitter and X so great or so different, depending on your opinion and point of view, is going to die in apathy slowly. Chat continues to talk about their vegan keto diets. Everyone's on it. Very LA. Yes, this sounds very LA. Texas A&M or Texas tonight. I will go with A&M. I do not trust Arch Manning as far as I can throw him. Prime Game of Thrones watching would have been ruined by that. That was the last monoculture experience on Twitter. Was once Game of Thrones ended, because first it was Breaking Bad, then Game of Thrones. Once Game of Thrones ended, monoculture of consuming television shows, unless it was a big award show, and now nobody cares about award shows. That was it. Goodbye. Sports are the last beacon of people getting together and sharing opinions in real time. And of course, breaking news, but there's so many different outlets and copycats to X and Twitter nowadays. Yes, Danny. So you need to go to following, hit the drop down bar, and change it yourself to most recent, because it's the default is popular. Popular is the algorithm, the for you algorithm, but it's just tailored to only people that you're following. Yeah, for you is just endless slop, bait, everything. There'll be something in there that makes you feel bad, feels great. It's probably fake. And people are creating content now to get picked up by the for you algorithm because they can monetize it. So a lot of what made this particular business so different, unfortunately, is dying with every passing day. Am I only seeing a bunch of people's last words tweets late? I don't know. That sounds grim. Am I seeing a bunch of people's last words tweets? Like, that sounds very grim. I'm hungry, and we have games tipping off in 10 minutes. So I'm going to go get some ham, some keto vegan ham with some keto vegan mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, turkey, and gravy. And then I'm going to watch all of these games tonight while trying to keep an eye on Texas versus Texas A&M. Let's go have a night. Friday. Thanks for taking the time to join me tonight, people. I don't do this show unless you show up. So a lot of you people, the regulars in here, you know each other by now. We're trying to keep these communities alive. This is the whole reason of doing a Q&A is this is all community building, community focused show. I have SiriusXM for preaching, okay? You don't go there to build community. You go there to build a different structure of a show. This one, if you want to keep it going, keep showing up as much as you can. Always be free. We appreciate our partners at ProfitX. Tell your friends to come in here, retweet the stream if you can, like do all that stuff. And I'll be back on Monday. And we'll keep doing this and doing this and doing this. And we'll see where it goes. But until then, it has been a pleasure. GG's in the chat. Vegan Barbie, happy birthday. You only turned 29 and a half once. Go live it up. Go live it up. You want to get to a point where you go to bed thinking, you know what? If I died overnight, I lived a pretty good life. I kind of feel that way right now. I've done a lot. I'm pretty happy with how I've lived my life. It's a great place to be. Apathy is a superpower. Just a thought. You seem like someone who can appreciate that. That's some grim shit, but also inspiring. I'm out of here. And won't turning noties on solve the problem of the algorithm? Yes, but you're going to have to turn notifications on for every single account that you follow. You don't want to do that. Your phone will never stop buzzing. GG's in the chat. We're out of here. Of course.